manufacture so we can create jobs. So what we want to do significantly is increase how much is being manufactured here so that we can reduce our dependence. That's all.
The Health Ministry has assured importers and the public of a smooth transition.
The drugs are placed in different schedules. Schedule 1 contains the medicines that have already been restricted in the past. Schedule 2 would be restricted immediately. And for Schedule 3, there's a period of 3 years. The fact that a drug has been restricted does not mean that the branded products will not be allowed to be brought in country. The FDA, based on the informed manufacturing capacity for each medicine, advise the ministry on what to do. It's not as if between today and tomorrow the EI will be passed and therefore there will be immediate restrictions. I just want to allay the fear of the general public that there's no need for any fear and panic. It's still work in progress. The Honorable Minister will ensure that the right thing is done and will still continue to engage all stakeholders, including PIWA and the Chamber of Pharmacy.
Government plans to increase local pharmaceutical production capacity to 60% and transform Ghana into a manufacturing hub and export center under the African Continental Free Trade Agreement.
Now to some more stories. Environmental experts are urging Ghanaians to take responsibility for their own sanitation, particularly amid a decline in air quality. Now, the Environmental Protection Agency says the current situation poses a health risk.
Ghana's capital, Accra, has in recent times been recorded as one of the cities in the world with very unhealthy air quality, signifying severe health impacts for the general population. The situation is even more alarming as Accra has now surpassed cities such as Delhi and Beijing, which are notorious for pollution. According to experts, tiny particles in the air, referred to as PM2.5, usually emitted from burning fossil fuels, carbon from vehicle exhausts, and others, are now higher than limits provided by the World Health Organization.
Construction companies must water the areas because people living along the road inhale a lot of these particles. Some of the particles are unseen, like the PM2.5. They may not be visible. We may be inhaling them without knowing. The dangerous particles are those that we can inhale. Some can go as deep as to lie in the surface of the lungs. Others can just be in the upper respiratory areas.
To compound the situation is the Harmattan season that has further contributed to the spike in dusty and foggy weather, causing the spread of flu and other sicknesses. Dr. William Banman explains citizens must take sanitation issues more seriously.
In the small area that you have influence over, keep the environment clean. There is a need for awareness. The media has to do more in terms of informing people. We need to put on nose masks wherever possible. We also become a little bit vulnerable at this time. There's high incidence of respiratory diseases, a lot of which are communicable, and therefore people who join public buses, so you could have transmission of some of these viruses.
Ghanaians may need to be more cautious about their personal hygiene and their surroundings. Judith Brown, TV3 News.
Let's do some politics now. An MPP flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, will later today outline his vision for the country. The public engagement seeks to unveil to Ghanaians the policies that will be implemented if Dr. Bawumia is elected president.
After his election as flag bearer in November last year, Dr. Bawumia indicated that he will outline his own vision for the country. Having led the economic management team for the past 7 years, many wonder how different a Bawumia administration will look like. He has indicated that despite his abiding belief in the same philosophy of the current administration, he intends to take a different path. The philosophy of the current administration has birthed free SHS, one constituency, one ambulance, gold for oil program, among others, But the same philosophy is chastised for the current economic woes of the country under an IMF program. So, what is the Bawumia path under the NPP philosophy? The nation awaits with bated breath.
Still in politics, flag bearer of the opposition NDC, John Dramani Mahama, says the NPP can no longer deceive Ghanaians into believing they are sloganeering and sweet promises. Speaking in Tamale as part of his Building Ghana tour, John Mahama says Ghanaians are wide awake.
Things they did, the promises they made, they have not kept one of them. How many people's districts have a factory? After the one district, one factory promise. How many districts here have a factory? Even the ones that have, there's nothing there. Those in Wali district, there's a factory there, watermelon. There's no equipment in the factory. Is the building going to process the watermelon? You need machines to process the watermelon. At least in my district, Bole district, we have no factory there. There's no intention of building any factory. One village, one dam, they came and dug some small ponds. Even when cows drink the water, the water finishes. They can't deceive us this time. Ghanaians are the wiser. Yet Isikasu it won't work again. I worked in Bank of Ghana. I know the money is there. Today, where is that money? NDC has the men and women. We're going to resuscitate this economy. We're going to get the economy back on its feet so that we can have peace and progress in our country. We want to change the narrative so that we'll no longer sing Samanole, Samanole, Samanole.
Now on to some more stories. The Ghana Journalists Association has declared a media blackout on the Member of Parliament for Yendi, Farouk Mahama. Now this follows an assault on a CTFM reporter during the parliamentary primaries held in the constituency on January 27. At a media briefing on Tuesday, President of the GJ, Albert Jumfo, said the GJ is prepared to meet the MP in court.
In the northern region, where a CTFM TV correspondent, Mohammed Amin Alabira, was assaulted. This time, not just the marauding tax seeking a journalist to devour who perpetrated the act, but a member of parliament, a dishonorable member of parliament for Yendi, Alhaji Farouk Aliu Mahama, was the one who led the onslaught. He slapped and kicked Alabira for attempting to do his work. His action invited his vigilantes around him, who also pounced on the journalist and attacked him. It is instructive to state here that Alabira was not the only one attacked. The regional police commander and his team of police officers and the district electoral officers were also made to undergo humiliating ordeals. All media houses must blacklist and offer Farouk Aliu Mahama no media coverage. Interview. As the MP for Yendi and any other state position, he owes until further notice. We want you to know that apart from him being insensitive to the work of journalists, as demonstrated during the parliamentary primaries, there are vigilantes around him who may harm you. So just steer clear or stay away from him and his tax.
Now, Senior Research Fellow at the University of Birmingham, Professor Tom Masi, has criticized the UK government regarding the custody of looted artifacts from the Minchia Palace. The Asante history author urged the Asantehene to fight for the complete release of the traditional ornaments.
Inside the Great Hall, a gathering of many political figures, diplomats, lawmakers, and traditional rulers. A moment to reflect a major event which happened exactly 150 years ago, the Battle of Amoafo, and the peace treaty signed at Fomena chronicles the event of war and mutual benefits between the Asantes and the UK.
By a happy coincidence, the British finally have answered our prayers, albeit in some veiled way, that half a loaf, they say, is better than none. However, some of the regalia which were taken to the US are here and going to be here until time and circumstances shall be no more.
On Monday, February 5, the first batch of the looted treasures arrived in Kumasi, ready to be put on display on Thursday at the Menchia Palace. Professor Tom Masi in 1968 came to Ghana. The Ashanti history expert extensively studied the Ashanti Kingdom and has authored the over 700-page history of Ashanti. He revealed there are a number of treasures stolen and sitting in British museums which need to be pursued. The reenactment of events of 1874 brought some realities of the past to the present, but the most striking one was the looting. Traditional ornaments were stolen from Kumasi to the UK. Professor Tom Masi believes the Ashantis rallying together will help them to at least bring back these valuables. But what could be a barrier is the British laws, because even those that are here will have to be returned.
I know that British law says they cannot be exported for good, sent home for good, but I think the law should be changed.
William Evans Inkum, TV3 News, Kumasi.
And that's our wrap up the 6 a.m. news right here on TV3. My name is Judith Brown. Do stay tuned. We'll be back with the rest of New Day.